Eyewitness News reporter Dan Kraft live this morning near one of the shooting scenes in Lewiston with the latest developments. Dan?
Good morning, Sandra and Mike. While people have been sleeping, officers have been out here with rifles in hand guarding the crime scenes. This is not how people here in Lewiston wanted to wake up today. Another day without the gunman captured almost 36 hours later. As police continue to search for him, we are learning new details about why he may have targeted this location in the first place and about the victims he's accused of murdering. This morning, the massive manhunt intensifying for 40-year-old Robert Card. The man accused of opening fire at a bowling alley and a bar Wednesday night, killing 18 people and leaving 13 wounded. Late yesterday, police surrounded a home in Bowdoin about 20 minutes away, but no sign of him. Sources telling ABC News police found a suicide note not describing a motive. It's addressed to Card's son and contains rantings and personal information like bank accounts.
And things perhaps that Robert Card's son could find useful should his father not be there. So the suicide note is just one clue that the authorities are now looking at.
Sources also saying Card has associations with both shooting locations. An ex-girlfriend said to be connected to one of the crime scenes. Meanwhile, a community here on edge.
Everybody's scared.
A shelter-in-place order extended to 2 counties. Schools and businesses closed now for a second day in a row as police continue to field a flood of tips.
We've had everything from people calling about, noises in the basement, noises in the woods.
And as the search continues, the names and faces of the victims are emerging, like 42-year-old Arthur Strout, a father of 5 gunned down at the bar.
People loved him. They just loved him.
Also, 76-year-old Bob Violette, a youth bowling coach who reportedly died trying to protect the children in his care. And 53-year-old Trisha Asselin, a mother who worked part-time at the bowling alley.
She was the most fun person. She was always happy-go-lucky.
As the all-out search for a mass murderer enters another day, community members are hopeful for better days ahead.
It's going to be tough, but I mean, we're a great community. Everybody's going to come together and we'll figure out what we can do as a city.
A lot of sadness and anxiety here this morning. Many people here worried how long this lockdown could last. Due to the suspect's military experience, he may know multiple ways to evade police. We'll have more on his background coming up in our next half hour. Reporting live in Lewiston, Dan Kraft, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News reporter Dan Kraft live in Lewiston this morning with the very latest on the investigation and this search that continues at this hour. Dan, what do we know?
Good morning, Mike and Sandra. The sun begins to rise here in Lewiston. That search for the gunman continues almost 36 hours after the mass shooting started. Today, we are learning new details about the suspect's mental state and about the victims he's accused of murdering. An all-out manhunt for 40-year-old Robert Card, the suspect in Wednesday night's massacre in Lewiston, Maine, accused of killing 18 people and wounding 13 others. Police swarming a home in Bowdoin yesterday, shouting through a megaphone and ordering the suspect to come outside, but he wasn't there. Earlier in the day, Card's neighbors speaking out, saying nothing seemed off with the suspect, who they say comes from a hard-working family of farmers.
The last time I saw him was 2 weeks ago when he was helping his father hay this field right here. And perfectly normal.
Just didn't seem like that kind of individual. Like I said, people have problems, but you don't expect them to go off the deep end like that.
But new details from law enforcement suggest otherwise. Card, an Army reservist, appears to have an interest in online conspiracy theories. He had a history of mental health problems, threatening to shoot up a military site in Maine. And over the summer, made violent threats to other soldiers at a military facility in Westchester County. He was ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation in West Point.
The critical question, how did someone in such a mental health crisis maintain access to a high-capacity rifle?
As the investigation intensifies, we are learning more about the victims. 53-year-old mother Trisha Asselin was a part-time worker at the bowling alley where the rampage began. When the gunfire erupted, she ran to call 911 and was shot.
And when she called 911 to save everybody, she lost her life because of it. My sister's a hero.
Also, Joseph Walker, who worked at the other shooting scene, a bar not far from the bowling alley.
Picked up a butcher knife and went after the gunman to try to stop him from killing other people. And that's when he shot my son to death.
Others more fortunate to have survived the massacre.
We dropped to the ground.
And that's when I think I was shot in the arm.
Meanwhile, a shelter-in-place order continues across 2 counties. Schools and businesses remain closed. People here on edge, praying for an end to this nightmare.
Nothing like this has ever come around here, and now it's your living reality.
Lewiston is a fairly small city, and to think that this is in our own backyard is just, it's just very hard to comprehend.
They're hoping that end coming soon. Sources telling ABC News that a suicide note was left behind. They say there was no mention of a motive, but that it was addressed to the suspect's son and contained what they called rantings and personal information like bank account numbers. Reporting live in Lewiston, Dan Krauth, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.